This is the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, and this is supposed to be the king of all Android phones, the flagship phone from Samsung, the one to get if you are into smartphone photography. Well, I returned my copy back to Samsung. What is happening, guys? Gary Jahman here, back at it again with a new video. Hope you're doing well, hope you're safe and happy. So let's begin right away with this new video. This is all about the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. And yes, I returned my copy back to Samsung, but more on that later in this video. First of all, let's talk about the boring stuff. Let's talk about just a little bit about the specs. So I'm not going to deep dive into the specs. I'm just going to mention the global specs that I have on my copy, right? So the version that I have is the gray one, and I actually like this gray one. It doesn't leave any fingerprints at the back, so that's really cool, really sweet, especially if you don't use a case like I do. And here in the Netherlands, the chipset that I have here is the Exynos 2200 instead of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. The GPU is the Eclipse 920 and the storage is the 128 gigs with 8 gigs of RAM. So these are the basic specs that I want to share with you guys, and now you also know that I have the Exynos version, so not the Snapdragon version. Alright, let's talk about the things that I absolutely like about the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. The screen is absolutely beautiful. I really like it. It gets really bright, so in direct sunlight you don't need to worry at all, and it has all the bells and whistles that you can imagine from a flagship phone, right? So real quickly, this is a 6.8-inch screen with dynamic AMOLED, 120Hz, HDR10+, 7050 nits, 1440p, Corning Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, just almost that you want and need from a flagship phone. So nothing really bad about the screen. The only thing that I don't really like is that it has those curved edges. So if you hold your phone, sometimes you just accidentally press on things that you don't really need to. So that's the only minor thing about the screen. Let's continue on to the cameras. So in this section, I'm going to discuss the things that I like about the cameras. So in this case, the photos. And the stuff that I don't really like will be in the dislike section of this video, right? So let's talk about photos first. It's all about the outcome. It's all about the images itself, not about how the camera is looking and how many megapixels and stuff like that. It's all about the outcome, the stuff that you're sharing with your audience, with your family, friends, or even for yourself, the thing that you're looking at. So that's really important, at least for me. So let's check out the images. Let's check out the examples. And I have to say, guys, these examples, they are really sharp, really crispy, and the colors are really easy to adjust as well. So if you like to edit your photos, it can easily do that. And in some conditions, it actually looked like it came from a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, so a real camera, right? And to me, that is really mind-blowing. Of course, we got that huge price tag of at least 999 euros here in the Netherlands. And if we take this little example for low light situations, in this situation, it's not really low light, but more or less crappy light, right? So just normal light bulbs and stuff like that. It looks really good. It looks really bright. The details are still there. And I have to say, I was really impressed with this. I don't know what kind of ISO level it was and stuff like that, but to have this type of exposure, it is really amazing. So in general, the conclusion that I have for the camera sections, at least for photos, if you are looking for a great smartphone camera, then this is absolutely worth checking out, the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Right, and we got, of course, all those different cameras, the wide, ultra wide, telezooms, right, too. They all have their weaknesses and strengths, but in the end, it's all about the outcome. And as you see in those examples, what I'm showing, it looks really good, right? It looks really good. No complaints whatsoever. Next up is the battery, and what can I say, guys? 5000 milliamp hour battery, and it just performs really well for a full day. The way that I use it, at least, it will last you for a full day without no worries at all. On the second day, you really need to charge it, but then it has that fast charging option as well. Of course, no battery charger included, but still, no brick included at least. But, you know, battery, pretty good. And finally, the last thing that I really like about this phone are the speakers. So the speakers sound really great, rich, good, and loud for a smartphone, and very enjoyable to listen. Here is a little example as well. Alright, and now we're gonna talk about the things that I don't like, the dislike section of this video. The first thing that I'm going to discuss is the design. And of course this is all personal taste and stuff like that, but for me, the moment that I had it in my hand, it just feels very cheap. And the design itself with the camera bump, also the curved edges, somehow it really felt like a Xiaomi phone, right? You know what I mean, right? It doesn't really feel premium. It doesn't really feel fancy or expensive at all. And I do not know why, maybe some kind of different kind of materials and stuff, but you know, for this type of money that I spent on this phone, and I spent for this one with a discount 999 euros, which is absolutely a lot of money. I expect at least some type of fanciness, some character or something, if you know what I mean, right? And maybe that's it. Maybe I just have a too high of an expectation or stuff in regard to the design, but in general, I'm just missing that type of luxury feeling that I want from such a price point. Next up, and here is the part that gets really dark, really nasty, really gnarly. It's all about the performance. Before I'm going to tell you what I mean and the reason why I sent it back to Samsung, just let me show you.
How many balloons will it take to make my iPhone fly? This is a beefy one. Okay, one balloon. Good
See
start.
that? Some kind of lag going on.
Very satisfying. How many balloons will it take to make my iPhone fly?
Again.
This is a... How many balloons will it take to make my iPhone fly?
Weird, right?
This is a beefy one. Okay, what?
It's not only YouTube Shorts or just anything. Also on Instagram as well. Let's see.
I am legitimately so confused because I saw a few people using this filter
What's this?
and I didn't realize that they didn't look like.
Weird, right? It's weird kind of light going on.
Alright, so as you notice, there is a strange delay, right? A very strange delay. Doesn't matter if you're looking on a website or on Instagram or YouTube Shorts. Doesn't matter what you're watching, even on the own photo app of the phone itself. Every time when you are watching a video, then it has some kind of delay. The sound and the motion, they don't synchronize at all. I do not know why. Maybe a software update, maybe something else. I do not know, but it's really weird that because I spent so much money for this phone to get this crappy result, right? Doesn't make any sense. It's like buying a Ferrari and notice that you can only do 60 kilometers per hour or something like that, right? Very strange. I do not know why. And this is the main reason why I sent it back to Samsung, but also just in general, just browsing on stuff, opening up apps, using the camera app. There's some strange delay every time I press the shutter button. The overall performance is not flagship-like. It does not feel like a flagship phone. And I'm not sure if that is because of the chipset that I have here in the Netherlands. Maybe if I have the Snapdragon version, it will be better. Not sure, because I didn't experience the Snapdragon version yet. But at least for this type of money and this chipset, the combination is just not good. So the performance again of this so-called flagship phone is not flagship material. Next up, I'm gonna talk about gaming. Of course, the lighter games. So with that I mean the games that don't need a lot of graphical power. Those work perfectly fine. As you see here in this example, this is Subway Surfer. It works perfectly fine, works smooth, no hesitations whatsoever. Maybe I have set my expectations too high, but when I play games such as Genshin Impact on this flagship phone, I expect to just go to the highest graphics level settings, setting everything to ultra or high, then I see the results and it's just totally laggy, just unplayable, right? So this to me is totally not acceptable. If you want to have the best of the best, at least this one is not it for you. So cameras, as I mentioned before, I really like the photos. For photos, this Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra is really good, like top notch. Here we can see this is flagship material, right? But then if we switch back to video, I have to say guys, sometimes it's like a hit or miss, right? Sometimes it looks actually really good, like, oh, this is actually nice quality. And sometimes it actually looks really crap, like really garbage. So I don't know why. In this case, you know, if you're looking at smartphones and looking at like which one to get for video, by far the iPhone is still the king. Like with iPhone you can just use like these type of videos and it looks perfectly fine. With the Galaxy S22 Ultra, just looks way too sharp and it really looks too digital. I think that's the perfect word to say it. It looks really digital, and for me personally, I don't really like that look. And yes, of course, we got all those different options. You can even shoot in like professional video. You can lock all the settings. You got the director mode or view. Also, you got 8K, of course, but 8K has a severe crop. So instead of a normal view like this, you get a very cropped in type of view. The price, let's say the price that you pay for this phone is premium price, right? 1,000 euros and up. But the outcome, the video outcome, is it also premium? And the answer is no, not always. And that to me is just not acceptable. And you know, I wish it looks better, and I'm pretty sure that there are apps out there that can make better use out of those cameras. But now for normal people just like you and me, you want to have the best. You don't want to mess around with stuff. You just want to use the camera app, film something, and then you're good to go. And you also want that the images or the videos are looking really good. And in this case, it doesn't look good at all. Sometimes at least. But sometimes, as you see here, it actually looks pretty good. But not always. So I want to have that premium consistency that I don't have right now at this moment of time. Final one that I don't really like. This is more or less a personal thing, and that is the S Pen. For me, at least, the S Pen, it feels like a real gimmick, right? I'm used to bigger phones. I'm used to swipe stuff with my hand, with my fingers and stuff like that. I'm used to it. I don't need a S Pen. I don't need a pen to write things down. Of course, I can imagine that people out there that are using the S Pen, they are loving the S Pen and stuff like that. But to me, you know, it doesn't have an extra value add. What type of value add does it have for me when I use it? Of course, I can write things down. I can mark things with the S Pen. I can use it as a remote for the camera app. But other than that, right? Do people really need that S Pen? Like really need? Or is it more a want? Or is it more an extra type of gimmick that you want to get? Because I'm pretty sure if you have this phone, and let's say for 24 hours, you will use this S Pen maybe for a couple of minutes, right? So the value add, to me at least for the S Pen, means nothing. I do want to say that the S Pen works really well, by the way. If you are writing something, if you are drawing something, it works very responsive. So the way it works, the way that it needs to do what it needs to do is perfectly fine. But what kind of value does it add to the phone itself, for the experience? To me at least, not that much. Conclusion time. Do I recommend this phone? And the answer is of course no, at least not for the version that I have. I have the Exynos version here in the Netherlands, and the premium price that you pay for it, so at least 1,000 euros. What I want in return is a premium build, which I don't have. Premium performance that I don't have. Premium videos that I also don't have. By the way, for videos, I really like the stabilization, I really do. But the outcome in general is just mediocre. It's just plain, right? It isn't special. So when you think about this, when you think about the price and all these stuff together, I cannot recommend this phone. At least not the Exynos version that I've been using for the last like 3 weeks or so. that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if not already. Like the video. Comment down below. What do you think about the S22 Ultra? Do you like it? Do you have the Snapdragon version? Let me know in the comment section down below. Because to me, if I want to spend 1,000 euros, I think I'm gonna spend it to go to some nice place, go on a little trip or something, and enjoy my time there, instead of buying a phone that doesn't show any real value. Alright, that's it guys. Thank you again for watching. See you in the next one. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Good luck.